I looked for a creative way to shoot it different than having Fast 5's budget or Fast 6 budget or the Bourne franchise budget.
First of all,
Right.
Can you believe you even said Fast 6? Like there's that many of those movies?
I know.
That's ridiculous. Everybody in Hollywood loves a great story, and what better story than a stuntman turned writer? Now he's a director. Ric Waugh is here on Screen Addict. How do you like to be referred to?
Well, I don't know. Val Kilmer, he just abbreviated it all together. He just called me Ric Waugh.
Has directed a lot of big stars over the years. You got another one coming up with The Rock. Another Rock and Susan Sarandon movie, because we see so many of those.
Yeah, and what's great is we got some new fresh faces that are just, well, one not so fresh, Michael K. Williams from The Wire. He plays this guy Malik, crushes it, unbelievable actor. He brings so much authenticity and validation to the drug world, which with this movie is set in.
Go back for your career, and let's take it back. You're a stuntman by trade, correct? Come from a stuntman family in a lot of ways?
Yeah, my father was one of the biggest legends in the business. As far as I'm concerned, one of the top 10 stuntmen that ever lived. And when you come up from those roots, there's part of you that thinks, God, how am I ever going to follow in this guy's footsteps? But luckily, he also paved such a huge legacy and a huge path of being sincere and being one of the good guys that it opened up a lot of doors. And so I started doing stunts when I was very young.
I was going to ask you, what are your earliest memories of being on set with your dad?
Well, the ones that I don't remember is I was on the set of McHugh with John Wayne. I was on the set of Paint Your Wagon with Clint Eastwood. And
Wow.
then where I started to really remember the sets is my father was the original Spider-Man in the 70s, the TV series. So that was when I was like 7 or 8 years old. So you're walking on set and your dad's Spider-Man, he's climbing buildings, and it was just crazy. And that was the fun part of growing up in the business on the side that I did, is the movie stars and all those guys, they weren't my heroes. It was the stuntmen. It was the guys that were risking their lives and doing all the action. That's what I loved.
Are you still wearing your stuntman hat, or are you getting a little older?
Well, on this movie,
Sorry.
no, the funny part is my producer, Becky, there's a big semi-chase in this movie with Dwayne Johnson. And I wanted to shoot this semi-chase from what I learned from the business, which is the point of view. It's shooting from the action point of view of what the stunt person is going through or what that character is going through. And so instead of being in a movie where you're watching it from a voyeuristic point of view and you're sitting back and watching cars crash and things flying in the air, be in the cars, be in the action, shoot it from the inside out.
Not only can that be more effective, but that's probably also more resourceful when you're looking at the bottom line.
Totally.
I would imagine a movie like this, you have a budget, but it's not the Michael Bay, Tony
Right.
Scott, Jerry Bruckheimer kind of budget. So that is
No,
also a way
exactly.
to, I don't know, artistically have a different take on it, but also save some money, I would imagine.
Yeah, but then, then it comes to a point where we put Dwayne Johnson, he's in that truck and every bit of the action, we never doubled him. And so there was a couple points where I'm thinking, okay, I know where my stunt days, I know what they're gonna say, this is all green screen, Dwayne's not really in the truck, so I said, okay, well if I handhold a shot while we're crashing cars on fire, flipping through the air, and we go over to see Dwayne, they know they can't fudge it, so what did I do? I strapped myself on the front of a semi. And my thing with Dwayne was, if you're gonna trust me to put you in the position where I know you're safe, I wouldn't be hanging on the front of the truck if I didn't know if it was safe to.
I had to do that for hosting the show last week. I had to strap myself into the Screen Addict offices because it was just getting crazy, and it's whatever it takes to get the shot.
We'll harness you up, man.
It's not gonna happen.
There is no way.
I would imagine just as a fan of movies, you see a lot of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there ever a time when you're looking at something and you go, boy, not only do I wish I wrote that or I wish I directed it, but do you ever watch an action sequence and say to yourself, oh, I wish I was jumping off that car in a certain movie?
Not anymore. It's kind of like been there, done that.
Right.
But there was a couple movies of recent that I was a huge fan of. I thought they were so well executed. The narrative was amazing. One is The Town. And the funny thing is, I remember going into Warner Brothers after, the head of the studio at that point, Kevin McCormick, saw Felon, and he was like, what would you like to do? And I go, well, I know you got a script called The Town. He goes, man, you'd be perfect for that. It's too bad we gave it to Ben Affleck a week ago.
Snitch comes out February 22nd. It's with not only The Rock, but also the beautiful and talented Susan Sarandon. And be sure to go back on DVD and check out a movie this guy worked on called Felon with Stephen Dorff. You won't be disappointed. One of my favorites. Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Get your film fix. Subscribe to CineFix.